Yes, mates, how's it going? My name's Lee, and welcome back to the FPL Punk YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be taking a look at some plays for Game Week 30. These include transfer targets you might want to buy, and plays that you should wait on before making that final decision. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe down below for more FPL content. Anyway, let's rock and roll.
Get strong.
Right, mates, first we've got Daniel Munoz from Crystal Palace, 5 million defender, 11.9% owned so far. Last time I recommended Munoz was around Game Week 21, and since then he's just gone on to 4 clean sheets, 4 goal involvements in that time frame. So I think it was a great buy then. I think it's a great buy now. He's very high on the list of defenders for me to buy for Game Week 30 and beyond this. And they've got Southampton in Game Week 30, Brighton at home in 31, and then they've got that double in Game Week 32. It's not a great double, to be fair. Man City at home, Newcastle away, but the fact he's got 2 games, he's got 2 chances to do something in the game. You never know, like they might keep a clean sheet in one of them. He might get an attacking return. Really like him for that kind of period. Bournemouth at home in Game Week 33. Again, not a great fixture, but depending on what time you kind of wildcard, it kind of might dictate that, and they might even double again in Game Week 33. If you are going to wildcard, I'd probably hang on to at least Game Week 31, and then we get more information of when these are going to be decided. In terms of his stats this season, 27 appearances, 9 clean sheets, 8 goal involvements, 112 points so far this season. And he's just been great. He's so attacking, like he almost plays like a right winger. Some of his key stats per 90, great as well. Over the last 5 games, so between Game Week 24 and Game Week 28, I'm recording this before the games in Game Week 29. His goals conceded is 0.6 per 90, which is it's about half. It's about half of what they normally do. So they normally concede about 1.2 per game. He's on 0.6. His expected goals conceded are also down to 0.82. Anything less than 1 expected goals conceded per game is great. So at 0.82, it is also really good. And there are some clean sheet kind of viable fixtures over the next 5. That's the reason why I really like him. His XG is 0.16, which is really high for a defender. And that's kind of like similar to his season average, which is around 0.5, 0.15, 0.16. So even though it looks like he's performing better than what he usually is, this is kind of like half of the course. Do you know what I mean? Like this is just what he does, and his expected assist is 0.07 over the last 5. Season average is about 0.06, so he's great in terms of that as well. Absolute beast, great fixture in Game Week 30, and for me, he's very high on the list to buy for Game Week 30. Next up is another defender we think you could buy for Game Week 30, and there's a lot of hype around him right now. And I think he's had a really good season as well. I watched him against Spurs and I thought he was excellent. His assist and his kind of that burst from the left back position to whip the ball in the box, I thought was exceptional, to be fair. I just think he's had a really good season and he's playing really well. Plays for Bournemouth, 5.2 million. He's worth 0.2 million more than Munoz. I don't think he's probably worth that 0.2. But I think if you've already got Munoz and you want someone to go alongside him, I think Kerkez could be very high up on the list for this. 18.9%. I'd probably go Kerkez over the likes of Huijsen. I think Huijsen's good value for his price, but with Zabani back, Senesi's probably going to be back soon as well. Like, we don't know who's going to play in that centre-back position. I'd probably avoid that for now and kind of wait for more kind of clarity around it. If it looks like Huijsen is going to be back and 100% confirmed back or starting, should I say, then I'd probably go Huijsen over Kerkez and save that 0.7, 0.8 million. But as of right now, we don't have the information, so as a result, I'd go for Kerkez over Huijsen. And he's played really well this season. He's made 28 appearances so far in the league, 6 clean sheets, 5 goal involvements, 101 points so far. So his key stats per 90 over the last 5, so between Game Week 24 and Game Week 28. They're quite down compared to the season average. So Bournemouth are conceding 1.6 goals per 90, and that's even worse than their expected goals conceded of 1.78. They're kind of around 1.4 for kind of both of those, so they are kind of down from the season average. So they are conceding more goals, but they're a good team, and they've got some good fixtures coming up here as well. Even though he does get goal involvements, his attacking data is really, really poor, actually. Like his XG over the last 5 is 0.01, and that's kind of in line with his season average. His expected assists are down to 0.04. Season average is around 0.7, so it's about less than half. But I think because he takes a lot of deep crosses, that the expected assists for those tend to be quite low, and I think that's the reason why it kind of reflects that in terms of the data. I still really like him as a pick. They've got Ipswich in Game Week 30, which is a really nice game. West Ham away in 31, Fulham at home in Game Week 32. So I think you could play him over the next 3 or 4 games easily. the chance they could even double at some point in game week 33 or so. So definitely someone to keep an eye on. I think if you are going to buy him, now is the week to buy him for game week 30, where they're playing Ipswich at home. I think if you miss the Ipswich at home game, I probably wouldn't buy him for game week 31 or 32, just because it's not as good of a game. So as a result of that, I still think he's a buy. I still think he should be high on your list. And if you've already got some like your Munoz and you want someone to go alongside him, I think Kerkez might be the man. So I've just made a little graphic here looking at goalkeepers and defenders in terms of transfer priority. So I think Munoz should be number one. I think if you're looking for any defender and you don't own Munoz, I think he's the one that you should be looking at buying. I think Kerkez is number two. Same again like we've already discussed him. Gabriel's three, just because Arsenal are just so good. They are going to keep clean sheets. Guardiola, he's got Leicester in game week 30. A really nice game. He's got Man United after that, so fixtures do go down a little bit. But I think his attacking data is still good. And City do like they're improving ever so slightly defensively. So that's the reason why I've got him in fourth. And then I've got two Newcastle players in fifth and sixth. And that's just down to the fact that they've got that double coming up soon. And the fixtures aren't bad. So they've got Brentford in game week 30, Leicester in game week 31. And then they've got the double in game week 32. So I don't mind going for Trippier. With Lewis Hall being out, I think Livramento is either going to play left and then Trippier's going to play right, or vice versa. So I think Trippier's probably more nailed for minutes than he's probably ever been this season. And we all know how good he can be. It feels like he's almost like a differential because I don't see a lot of people going for him. And if he gets anywhere near his like attacking data that he got in previous seasons, I think he could be on for some massive points over the next few games. And that's the reason why I've gone for Nick Pope there as well. I think if you're looking to wildcard in game week 31, I think Nick Pope could be quite high on the list with that double in 32, and then they've got decent fixtures after that as well. There's a chance you could even go for the double as well. So that's who I would prioritise in terms of transfers in the goalkeeper defence. Let's take a look at some midfield and forward options for game week 30. First midfield I wanted to discuss was Bruno Fernandes. He's had a lot of transfers in over the last few days after his hat-trick in the Europa League up against Real Sociedad. He looked great, but do kind of keep in mind that two of those were penalties there as well. So I still really like him. Like, he's just so talismanic for us on basically everything. Everything good that we do kind of comes through him. 8.5 million now. He's going to up him a little bit in price. 22.1% owned. I think if you didn't own him for game week 29, now's probably not time to bring him in. We've got a pretty tough run over the next three now. I think if you're desperate to bring him in, do it. Like it's fine. I think Bruno's always going to be fine in regards to the fixture, but Nottingham Forest away, I think it's going to be a tough game. I don't really see us scoring in that game. Man City at home, Manchester derby, like a bit hit and miss. Newcastle away, really tough game for us. I think Wolves at home in game week 33 is probably the next time you could consider Bruno Fernandes. But depending on when you wildcard and who doubles in game week 33, if there are any doubles, then he might be quite low down on your list of players to bring in. So for me, it's probably a wait. Just kind of see what happens, just kind of see how we're playing. Form's been very hit and miss. We've not won back-to-back games for... I don't know if we've won back-to-back games at any point in the season, so just feels a little bit risky. And then Bournemouth away after that, I can see Bournemouth beating us, like they're a good team. But Bruno's been great all season long. Like, he gets a lot of stick. A lot of rival fans don't like him. I think he's a beast. 27 appearances, 7 goals, 9 assists, 135 total points. So his key stats per 90, 1.8 shots per 90, which is down from his season average of about 2.5. So he's getting about one less shot per game. His key passes is up to 2.6. Season average is around 2. So it's performing a little better in terms of like creating chances. But our players don't score. What you ideally want is his key passes to be down and his shots and his XG to be up. It's kind of vice versa. Like you want Bruno to be taking the shots. Like you want Bruno to be on the end of things. Just because no one else scores goals, so I think you want Bruno to be taking more shots. XG down to 0.13. Season average is around 0.3. So he's down by nearly half again. Expected assists is around the same, 0.22 over the last 5, and that's kind of similar to, compared to his season average. In terms of predicted data over the next 5 games, he always does pretty well in terms of models. So he's predicted to get 4.8 to 5.2 points in every single game over the next 5. So I think he's never a bad buy, but he does cost 8.5 million. I think the money could be better served elsewhere. And as a result of that, for me, it's probably just a wait and see and kind of like reassess things in game week 33. Moving on to the first forward I wanted to discuss, and it's Alexander Isak, and 9.3 million now, so he's gone down a little bit. Ownership's dropped to 46.5%, 25 appearances, 19 goals, 5 assists, 169 total points. Mate, he's a beast. And the only reason why I've got him as a wait is because if you don't own him, you probably sold him in Game Week 29. Doesn't make sense to go and buy him back straight away. I know it's a decent game at home to Brentford. I think you can wait till Game Week 31. And then at the latest Game Week 32 where they've got the double. I think you're definitely going to want him back for Game Week 32. I'm probably going to wildcard in Game Week 31. I think a lot of people are planning kind of Game Week 31, Game Week 32 wildcard. And I think that's the time to bring him back. I think for this particular week, it's a wait. And then reconsidering Game Week 31. I think that's the time to bring him back. Key stats per 90 over the last 5 games. Everything's gone down. His shots are down to 1.57 shots per 90. And that's kind of like half of what he normally gets. He normally gets around 2.83 shots per game. And his key passes are also down to 0.52. His XG is down to 0.37 per 90. It's still good. Like don't get me wrong, like it's still really good. But it normally goes around 0.5, 0.6 per 90. So it is down compared to his season average. And his expected assists, he doesn't really get the assists. Like even though he's got 5, expected assists are down to 0.06, and that's around half of what he normally gets. It's around normally it's around 0.1 or so. Still getting 6.8 points per match. Still a beast. Predicted data is he's still great. Still getting around 6.1 to 7 points per match. And he's got the really nice double at Man United at home, Crystal Palace at home. I think you're really going to want him for that. Is a serious captaincy option for Game Week 32. So as a result of that, I think if you really want to go back and buy him, or you didn't sell him in Game Week 29, I think you could buy him. But I think those who did sell him in Game Week 29, myself included, who's holding for Haaland, I'm going to wait a couple of weeks, look to buy him in Game Week 31 and go from there. The last player I wanted to discuss was Jean-Philippe Mateta, the absolute unit of a Crystal Palace forward. Mate is an absolute beast. 7.5 million, 4.9% owned, really low ownership, great price. And he's on that kind of buy to wait kind of thing. And the only reason why is that we don't know if he's going to be fit. Like he obviously sustained that quite bad injury a few weeks ago. So as a result of that, it's just wait. I wouldn't force the issue. And if it looks like he's not going to be back, I'd probably wait again. I think he's a decent pickup for Game Week 32 when they've got the double. However, like it's not a great double anyway. Man City at home, Newcastle away. And his overall stats haven't been great over the course of the season. 27 appearances, 12 goals, 2 assists, 123 total points. But he started the season really slowly. Over the last 10 games or so, like he's been an absolute beast. Some of his key stats per 90 over the last 5, he's getting 2.25 shots per 90, which is in line with his season average. He's getting 1.5 key passes, and he had that really nice assist a few weeks ago from Munoz. His XG is up at 0.85, and his season average is around 0.3 or so. So like it's gone massively up over the last 5, over the last 10 or so, and that's also reflective in his expected assists over the last 5 as well of 0.23. And he's always going to be good because of the way he kind of plays and the way Palace kind of play to his strengths. He's always going to get kind of 4.5 to kind of 5 predicted points per game. And if he is fit and he is going to play for Game Week 30, I think he should be very high on your list if you are looking for a forward. I don't see a lot of people kind of going for him because I think it's quite tough to get to him because there might be issues elsewhere. I'm recording this before the Game Week 29 game, so we don't know what else is going to happen between now and Game Week 30. There's quite a big gap, about 2 weeks, where there's an international break. I think there's some cup games in there as well, so we never know what's going to happen in that kind of time frame. But if it looks like he is going to be back, I do really like him for Game Week 30. He's got Brighton at home in Game Week 31. Then he's got the double. Like I said, like it's not a great double, but a double is still a double. Like it's still 2 games. And the way Man City are defending, he can cause anyone problems, and he could easily cause Man City problems. But for me, I think if you are looking for a forward, Mateta should be quite high on your list. Similar to what we did with the goalkeepers and defenders, I've done like a similar one for transfer priorities for the midfielders and the forwards. And Mateta is number 1 for me. Like I think if he is fit, with that nice fixture in Game Week 30, followed by the double in Game Week 32, I think he could be very, very high up on your list. I've got Isak down in 5, but I think that's only because I've sold him and I don't like buying players back that I've just sold. Like it doesn't make sense from like a kind of logistics point of view. Isak next week would be quite high on the list, but as of this particular week, that's the reason why he's down in 5th. I still think Kluivert is a great option, and I've got Ipswich this week. Still on penalties. I think his minutes might be slightly reduced, but I still really like him. Put Haaland in 3rd. Haaland's always going to be Haaland, and I think you should always consider him. I think he's always an option for people. For people like me that bought him in Game Week 29, I'm obviously going to own him for 29, 30, and then if I look to wildcard Game Week 31, then we can reassess things from there. But he's always going to be a beast. He's always going to score goals, and he's always going to tick along nicely. And I think if you own him, he's always a consideration for captaincy regardless of what the opposition is. I've got Ismail Assar in 4th, and he's been really good, and his predicted date is good over the next few games. Really nice in terms of price. I think he's just an absolute beast. I think he's a better option than Eze. I see a lot of people looking at Eze for Gameweek 30 and beyond. I think Ismail Assar is a better option, to be honest with you. And then at the back, we've got Bruno Fernandes. And for similar reasons to Haaland, he's always going to tick along, and regardless of what the opposition is, Bruno will probably return in the games where you don't expect him to return. We've played better against the bigger teams this year. We tend to struggle against the likes of Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester, but we played pretty well against Liverpool, Man City, and I think that will continue from now until the end of the season. I think we'll drop points against the likes of Bournemouth and Crystal Palace and Newcastle, but we'll do pretty well against Man City and Forest and things like that, so I think he'll surprise you, and I think you should always kind of consider him because I think he'll always do pretty well, but this is the order that I'd have the transfers in. Right, mates, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. So today we looked at some transfer targets and players that you should either buy or wait on before making that final decision for Game Week 30 and beyond. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment down below. Good luck for Game Week 30. Peace and love.